For a while now, my computer's been this Alienware, and I fixed some of the noise issue by reapplying the thermal paste, but it still makes a bunch of racket and it also is hot. So with that said, here's what it sounds like. And here are the current stock temperatures. The CPU is actually relatively under check. The GPU is obviously very hot. And to resolve these two issues, I'm going to be swapping out these fans for hopefully some better ones. The right thing to do would be swap them out for Noctuas. I don't have any Noctuas on hand, and I also want to make sure that what I'm about to do will work, because I'm not going to spend upwards of like $70 on Noctua fans just to find out that the method I want to do isn't going to work. So with that said, I've been playing Sea of Thieves now for maybe about an hour or so, give or take. And of course, these are again idle temperatures are like right now, and of course noise level. So I'm going to get this thing shut down, and I'm going to go over what I'm planning on doing, and yeah. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm obviously going to be replacing the front fan right here, and I'm also going to be doing a modification to the AIO right here. I've seen this done to other Alienwares, and you can actually do a push-pull configuration to the AIO to get even better performance. So what I need to do first is I need to figure out what fan I'm actually going to use to replace with in the front, because I want to be able to spin that fan up as high as I can with it not sounding like a jet engine. And I have two different types. I have a scythe type and your more traditional. I think the more traditional here is going to pull more air than the scythe. With that said, the scythe ones, the deep cool, I have a lot of these little deep cools, so I'm just going to do a push-pull config with the deep cools on the AIO. But first things first, like I said, I need to figure out the intake fan. So let me get this thing kind of set up and I'll come back. Alright, so I got the fractal installed and it's barely even spinning. Now I do have it running under system control, but I'm going to change it to manual, and I'm going to bump it to I think like 50, and we're going to see what it sounds like. And of course I need to see how much air this thing produces. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I have it actually set to 70%, and it's noisy, but it's producing quite a bit of air. So I'm going to shut the system down, and I'm going to plug in the scythe, and then we're going to see what that one produces. Alright, the consensus is the scythe fan right here actually produces more air, which is to be expected considering these were actually used for my radiator. So with that said, I'm actually going to swap this particular one out because this one has a bad ball bearing, and I'm going to go and figure out how I'm going to do the push-pull config for the AIO. So I'm going to get all this situated off camera, and then I will come back. I want to quickly chime in. So here's what the upper portion of these Alienwares look like. They just have this big old bulbous piece for the AIO, which means technically you could get a 240 in here, but due to the way this is designed, the fan right here would just be sucking nothing. So unfortunately, due to Adele's infinite wisdom, this thing really only natively supports a 120 AIO. But with that said, I can do the push-pull config and actually get better cooling from this actual AIO. Luckily, it doesn't leak or anything, and it does maintain temperatures, but it is a little noisy. Alright, some significant time has passed. I actually had to pull the motherboard out of the case to get the AIO to fit back in. With that said, here is the fan from the AIO. It's a big old thick boy, and well, this thing spins up really fast, and because of that, it's noisier than god dang sin. So with that said, I got everything back together. Now to turn the thing on and see if it still works. Probably disconnected something? I'll come back. Well, it powered on completely fine. I don't know why it gave that issue. I mean, the fans are clearly spinning, and this thing's really, really quiet. So now to see if I can get the fan tuning to work right. Alright, did a little bit more tuning, and I kind of got everything figured out now. This fan right here is still producing a lot more air than the original fan was. These fans I ramped up fairly high. And current idle temperatures are well within check. So the next question is, how does this thing handle gaming? So I'm going to try to back down, I'm going to get it all set back up again, and we're going to see what happens then. Also, unfortunately, ARGB does not work. I was kind of hoping that maybe pulling the board out and putting it back in may get the RGB to work, but unfortunately it still doesn't. So to get the RGB fully functioning on this system again, I need the R7 board, which should be coming in relatively soon-ish, I think. So I will come back when I get this thing reset back up. Now, I know I didn't show idle temps or the idle noise, but right out of the gate, I just tuned it just a little bit more, and now it's nearly silent. And it's still producing noise, but not to the extent it used to be. And also, I have a little bit of RGB here, and a little bit of RGB there, to make up for the fact that the RGB on the actual RGB strips currently do not work. And with that said, now I'll actually play some COCs for a little bit and see what the temps are like. I'm expecting theoretically a difference, but I'm also going to be tuning everything a little bit more because I'm right now have it set for idle, but I don't have it set proper for gaming. And well, theoretically, the way I have it set up, it actually should do just fine. But again, I need to start gaming on this thing to make certain. So I'll come back in like an hour or so. Alright, a significant amount of time has passed. I ended up getting engrossed for like hours, doing quite a few Fort of Dams, one Fort of Fortune, just a bunch of other random stuff. I encountered like no one. They're both out there, but they never interacted with me. Honestly, I'm happy. With that said, temperatures and whatnot have been well under check. Again, the GPU is going to run hot no matter what I do. CPU has been relatively cool, and the overall noise, it's very much audible, but not like it was. Especially considering I'm able to ramp these fans up significantly higher than the original fans and get far better cooling performance. I may do a little bit more tweaking to the intake for the GPU fan and whatnot, but I'm still fully tweaking. But I know CPU tweaked, or the way I had the CPU set up, is perfect. I still again gotta figure out if maybe I can tweak the the intake for the intake and whatnot. But again, as it stands right now, everything's well within check. It's relatively quiet and it's staying relatively cool. So now all I gotta do is just wait for that replacement motherboard to come in so I can hopefully theoretically get fully working RGB and also getting these two ports here to work. I took a look at the actual plug that these two ports connect to. The plug itself looks fine both on the actual plug end and on the motherboard end. More than likely why it's not working is because again the motherboard that's in here is meant for an R6 and this is an R7 case, and there just might be some weird incompatibilities. But with that said, the thing I set out to do, which was provide better cooling and quiet this thing down, has been achieved. And of course, performance-wise, it's been performing perfectly fine, if not just a little bit more better, because again, the CPU is able to maintain itself a lot more better now.